Describe Luis Suarez, Ali, for those who weren't listening pre-show.
He was running like he had a piano on his back. And I'm being kind to him. I really think, and I'm not part of the medical staff of Barcelona, nor do I pretend to be a doctor, but you look at him running, and there's some serious difficulties there. He looks uncomfortable with his movement, and yet he was out there for 90 minutes. When Craig is talking about the organization or lack thereof of Barcelona, today there was a change in formation by Quique Setién in which he puts out a diamond midfield. And when they were at their best today, well, it did look like a diamond when Ricky Puig at the very front of that. Then behind him would be Sergio Busquets, and on the side would be Vidal and Rakitic. But the problem for Barcelona is that they cannot maintain any sense of order and organization on the field. So that diamond became a cubic zirconium as the game wore on. And so there is people running all over the place. There is no sense of organization. There is no sense of spacing. And then when that happens, they revert back to something that has bailed them out in the past. And they say, we're going to give the ball to Messi and see if he does something. And if he's able to pick out a pass or make a run or score a goal, and somehow we win this game. Instead of continuing to play their way through the midfield and trying to trust the players and the talent they have in that area of the field, see if they can break through. When they get disorganized, and it happens more times than not, that's when they get stretched. And now you're dependent on individual players, and it just doesn't happen. As for Luis Suarez, I have to tell you again, I felt bad for the guy. He doesn't look right to me, but I guess for Quique Setién, he looked all right enough to leave him out there for 90 minutes. I would have thought that the substitution, not only of Antoine Griezmann, but Ansu Fati would have come earlier. They didn't, and in the end, 2-2. And it's fortunate at times for Barcelona for it to be 2-2.
Let's take it through then some of the key incidents in this game, starting off with Diego Costa's own goal. Rather unfortunate, Craig, from an unfortunate area as well, it seemed. Anything he could have done about that?
No, there's nothing he could have done, because what happened here was the marking at the front post was actually poor. I can't remember who it was, but I think they were marking Busquets. It might have been Thomas Partey, but I'm not sure. But he allowed the Barcelona player to get ahead of him. And that resulted on a small flick on, which meant Diego Costa saw it late. And I think he saw in his body language at the goal, he said, well, there's basically nothing I can do about it because I couldn't react quickly enough. But the marking at the front post was what made this problem happen, because the player got wrong side and Costa was left with nothing that he could do. And it was an unfortunate incident and it just hit him low enough that it wasn't too bad an incident for Diego Costa.
He had the chance then to almost immediately make amends, Ali, given the penalty after Carrasco won it. Had the penalty saved. VAR, though, took a look. Ter Stegen just off his line. Was this the right decision?
It is the right decision. And much like the offsides calls that people get crazy about because, well, is it an inch? Is it not an inch? Is it too close and not too close? What are we doing? The spirit of the game, so on and so forth. The law of the game is very clear in that the goalkeeper cannot gain an advantage by stepping off his line. Ter Stegen did, makes a save, and correctly brought back by VAR.
Diego Costa then didn't take the penalty again, Craig. Saul came and scored it. If you were Costa, would you have fought harder to take it, or were you more than happy to shirk the responsibility?
No, I don't think he was shirking the responsibility. I think he was accepting the fact that his penalty was saved and there was a bigger picture. Personally, myself, I would have taken it again. But, you know, sometimes a decision like that, I think it was clearly it was a good decision, but I think it was a sensible decision at the time. But it just comes down to the player himself. And, you know, if Costa felt he wanted to take it, he's big enough, ugly enough and strong enough, I'm sure he could have got it off Saul, who actually did take 2 penalties in the game, as you know.
Yeah, indeed. We'll talk about the second one in a moment. Let's talk about the Messi penalty that came 4 minutes into the second half before we talk about the Panenka. Was it a penalty for you, Ali?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's contact, but the angles that the camera showed us didn't exactly make it very clear and obvious for the call to be overturned. And so therefore, Felipe, who lunges, and when he lunges, that's the moment in which he gets into trouble. If there's any contact at all, I think is minimal at best. I don't think it was a penalty, but Felipe asked for it once he went reaching for a ball that he had no chance to getting to.
Craig?
Yeah, I think the issue here was it wasn't too dissimilar to the one given against Carrasco by Arturo Vidal. There might have been a little bit more contact, but it was a little bit similar in terms of the leg was just thrown out there. And I think for that reason, one, the referee gave it, and two, VAR decided that they were never going to overturn it, because the similarities with the one that Atletico were probably 60-40.
As a man who used to take penalties, wasn't bad, was it, from Messi, considering the pressure?
Well, he doesn't feel the pressure. He's not going to get sacked if Barcelona don't win the league. So as much as he wants to do it, look, at the end of the day, he's got the confidence. He's got a gazillion goals again. He carries the team, and it's just unsurprising. So maybe one day a goalkeeper will just stand there and make him look rather silly.
It's a filthy way to get your 700th goal. And we thought that would be it, Ali. You know, despite the problems, this will be it. Messi's incredible penalty saved the day, keeps Barca in this title hunt. However, as Craig mentioned, another penalty to Atleti. Saul takes it 2-2. This a penalty for you?
Yeah, and it is a fortuitous contact, if you will, an accident, if you will, from Semedo. But there is no doubt that he does clip Yannick Carrasco from behind and gets him off balance and impedes his progress. And so, therefore, I don't think the referee had any choice but to make the call. As the fact that Semedo meant it or didn't mean it, well, that doesn't really matter, because in the end, he takes Carrasco down, and I don't think there's a doubt this was a penalty.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.